This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so what we have discussed regarding the function. So when we start the function, we'll discuss about the type of the function, how many type of the function we have. Uh, so here we have the function having no return type and no argument. Then we'll discuss the function having an argument, and finally the function having an argument and having a return type. So in Python, we don't need to be specify which type we are returning. It automatically typecast the type. Okay, and this is the definition of the function that we have discussed. And then this will be the next one, line number 13, 14, and 15. All these are will be representing as the calling, how we can call the function. We'll specify the name of the function. If we don't have any argument, so we don't specify any argument. In case we have an argument, we'll specify the arguments. Okay, these are the type of the functions. So let's come on the part second, where we discuss when we declared a function and having the two argument and passing here some value integer, and it will be sum of it. In case we are passing the value string value, it will concatenate it. Okay, so this one will be the I'll just demonstrate it when we are passing the value of different data type, how the function will operate. Okay, now the third, the last that we have discussed, where we have arbitrary number of arguments. We don't know the number of argument, so in that case, how we can do? So here we have a function which we are specifying an argument, arbitrary argument, where we have a str, and we are just calling it from here. Okay, my test function. So we don't know the number of argument. The function will be the same, the name of the function will have same, line number 22 and 23, where we have the same function, but number of argument will be different. So the point that we discuss here, when we passing these arguments will be stored as a tuple. Okay, so in last line where we are just calling a function having, we are just specifying a key. The key will be the A, and the value will be the 24, 23, B, 34, C test. Okay, so this will be most usually used kind of you can say the function where we are just specifying a dictionary, and that dictionary will be that how we will store it and how we will retrieve the values. So that part we will use most of the time. What happens when you have, for example, you are writing a function where you need to just validate whatever the input type functions that is coming from a service. Okay, so how you will validate it? So you don't know the number of argument, but you know your keys, what keys you have, you need to validate. So in that case, whatever the input arguments you are passing getting from the service, you just pass to the function, and the function just validate it. Okay, function type, another type of the function. Now one more thing that we need to discuss in function, then we'll come on the test cases and all. So here, if in case you have you'll define a function. I'm just defining a function default values. Okay, in case what I'm trying to do, I have a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. At the time of the definition of the function, I'm writing like this. Okay, so what happened in this case? We in if we use let me just show you, print a and b, and we are just trying to print the values. To differentiate it, I'm just putting some hashes. Now you need to specify function default value, and just passing the values. I'm passing here 100 and 200. Okay, I'm writing it like this, and another calling of this function will be like this. Okay, so what happened? This value will pass to here. A, it will be override this value 1, and 200 it override this value 2. So the value will become the 100 and 200 in this function. But here I'm not passing any value. But although it will not throw any error, it will assign the value A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 2, and it will work. Let's see. I'm just writing here Python, that is function 1. So if you will see here, uh, why I'm printing, I'm not returning anything, sorry. I have no need of print anything. Uh, so here if you'll see, when we're passing this function 100, default function having 100, so what it doing, it just printing the value 100 and 200, and the default value will be 1 and 2. So now you will say what different we are doing in this case. So let me just take this example. I'm just writing this function again. I have this function test underscore function underscore val. Okay, and I'm declaring these values, and let me just remove this. I just want to print the value val and val2. Okay, now what we trying to do, we just want to calling this function. Let me just call this function 100 and 200. So what happened, the 100 value go to this and 200 value goes to this val2. It will print the value. Now again I'm not specifying anything and try to be just pass this function, so it will throw me an error. So what error it will throw, it will give that function, that val function, this function should have the two arguments, but I am not specifying any argument. So either you will define here some default arguments, otherwise you are not able to call like this. Okay, if I uncomment this function, so it will run. So let me just uncomment this and rerun this program. So now I'm able to run this program. Okay, so the objective of this complete exercise will be, when you have a default, when in case we don't have any value, so we can specify the default. If we don't specify anything, the default argument will pick automatically. Okay, one more point that I will just raising here. Okay, that we'll cover later. Let me just come on to another topics. Now, so why we need these functions and all kind of work we can do with the help of normal task as well. So why we need this function? So basically, the objective is, when you create a big larger programs, or when you'll done the projects. So in a project we have several modules. Okay, so in case you are writing, you are not using a function, so in that case, if you need to modify a particular component or particular part, so you need to recheck your entire program. But if your function is modular and you are just modifying in module, it will not impact on your entire program so much. You can easily modify and the maintainability will be lesser. Okay, till here, do you have any doubt and question you can ask? Uh, okay, you don't have any doubts. Okay, fine. So one more thing, I'm just cover quickly so that we can just come on how we can write the unit test cases of all. Okay, let me before starting the unit test cases, I'm just covering important one more important function that we commonly use in Python, and Python is basically most of the people will know Python for lambda functions. So what exactly the lambda function, how it different from the functions? So also a function. So lambda function, we can say it's a single line statement. Okay, when we use a function, when we have to write the entire function in a single line. Okay, although you can write in multiple lines as well, but most of the time whenever a piece of code is small and it can be returnable in single line, in that scenarios we are using the lambda functions. Okay, so lambda functions, we can say that as a small functions which having uh, one and two lines of activity that we can just represent in a single line. Okay, now just understand what exactly the syntax of lambda functions. So we have lambda functions. So what is the syntax of lambda function? First, we will write lambda lambda. After that, I'll tell you why we can do if we can remove this, how we can do that. But the basic scenario will be, if you are writing a lambda function, you'll specify lambda, and then it's not a compulsory that you have to specify the lambda, but although we need to discuss all the syntaxes, so we'll just cover this. So you have a function that is the anonymized function lambda, and in that we have a variable a. Okay, and after that what we are doing, we are just trying to be square of these a. We are just writing a program having we are just trying writing a program, write a program to find square of two numbers. Okay, so here what we have done, we just do we'll write a lambda function and find do the square. So how it will work, I'll just write a function lambda where I have a variable a, and whatever the value of a is, we will just multiply it, and this function will assign a name, that is square function. And now we just calling this function print sqr and passing here 23. Okay, so what happened, this sqr function will be this lambda function will be replaced in case of the sqr, having 23 will be replaced in place of a, and the result will be the 23 into 23, and it will be goes to this returning the value. Okay, so when we run this program, let's run this program python lambda. So you will see, you will getting the result of this 23 into 23. So let me just say, make it simpler, I just take it 100, and you can just easily compute it. Okay, so the result will be the 100. Well, 10 into 10, it will be 100. So this is the one part of the function where we have one argument in a lambda function. In case you can specify n number of argument, it's not a so let's discuss one more point where we have the two arguments or three arguments, like suppose. Okay, so what we're trying to do, we just want to solve a problem. We just want uh, a a square. I'm just writing a square plus b square plus c square. This is the final objective of this program. So we just want to write this equation, what is the result of a square, b square, c square. And what I'm trying to do, I'll take a variable equation where we define a lambda function having the three argument a, b, c, and I'm just writing the result will be the a square plus b square plus c square. So and after that sum of all these results, and it will return the value into the equation. Okay, so how we can invoking this? We are just invoking this the variable a, b or c. You can directly specify. I am just assuming 1 comma 2 comma 3. So here what happened, the a value will be goes to the 1, b value will goes to the 2, and c value goes to the 3, and it will be the 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, and then finally return the result. Have you got this point? Okay, when we'll executing this, so it will just return the, okay, it's my fault, I'm not printing this equation. Let me just call this lambda function here and closing this. Okay, so it will be just if I'm just computing it, 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 3. So it will be 1 plus 4 plus 9. So 9, 10 is 14. So the result will be the 14. Okay. So this is the syntax where we have n number of arguments in a lambda function. Okay. So one more point that we have that it's normally asked, we have, well, it's not a compulsory condition you can use like this. Okay, you can use n number, basically it's have n number of scenarios you can use it. Okay. Okay, so one more point where pupils will if I have a function like I'm defining a function, we can specify test my lambda function. Okay, when test my lambda function, what I'm trying to do, I'm writing this same program. But how I try to write this? First, we just want to be, for example, if anybody will say that what you have to do a square plus b square plus c square, and then you have to find the uh, multiplication of this. It means what you have, the objective will be we have like this, multiply by like this, a square plus b square plus c square multiply by a square plus b square plus c square. Okay, so you need to be otherwise another we can write like this, a1 plus b1 square. We have these variables like this. Okay, you have to, so what we have done, we have write a test lambda function for this and passing an argument a b c. Okay, now we have an equation here. What we are trying to do, we are just returning this value. We are return this equation braces. After that what we have, a comma b comma c, and what we can do, we can just multiply it again, we can just write the equation again like this. Or you, if you just want to make it more simpler to be, if I'm just explaining, let me just take an res1. Okay, and we have like this. If we can store, we can write in single line, but to explain, let me just explain in two lines. We have another value. If we can represent uh, x, y and z. Okay, these are the argument for this, so I'm just passing the value x, y and z. Okay, and now returning the result will be rest 1 multiplied by rest 2. Okay, so same way like functions, we can just define, we can just calling this print. I'm just writing 1 comma 2 comma 3, and again I'm just writing 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, So what it do, it will be 12 into 12, the result will be 14 into 14. So let's see here, 1 comma 2 comma 3, we have this, we have an equation here, the result will be coming here. Okay, what is the error? Oh, it's my bad. We need to specify the colon after this function. So if you will see, when we run this program, it will be just returning the result, the res1 into res2, and the result will be the 1196. Okay, so this is the way how we now. Any doubt? Okay, fine. If you don't have any doubt, that's good. Okay, now let me just come what exactly the module is. So let me just write it, and I'm just trying to write here module. So inside this module, what I'm trying to say, we have two types of modules. One is user defined modules, another is we have inbuilt modules. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to explain how we can define our own modules. So modules will be how we can define the module, how we can create, how we can invoke the modules. So I have a folder where I'm just writing my program modules, and here I have my src file and another file that I'm saying that is module, that is util. Okay, so let me just come on this folder. I just create a common function, common.py. Okay, this common.py function will define a function that will be the common function that we are going to use in my source program. Okay, in src folder, we are going to create a file having the name main caller that will call my program, where we are just invoking this module. Okay, so let me just move this. Okay, so if you able to see,
सर आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है। हेलो। हेलो।
Hello. Now it's fine. Okay, in case you are not able to hear my voice here, please ping me, or matlab, you can just open your speakers and you can speak. I'm not able to see your chats now, and my mic is matlab, it's very low, so I'm not able to. Matlab, my speakers are in low voice, so I'm not able to hear you. So either you can just write on chat or you can speak as well. Okay, so from where you are not able to hear my voice or you are not audible, or shall I continue? I think you are able to understand the part. Anybody of you can unmute. Okay, from modules you are not able to hear. Okay, fine. So let me just explain again what exactly the module is. What I have done on terminal, when I write the tree command and specify either the folder name or dot, it will just give us the uh, tree structure of your folder. Okay, so right now here I just run module src util, so it will return the tree structure, what tree structure we are going to use. So uh, if you will see here, we are just using the tree structure module. Having the module, we have the src folder where we are writing our program, and inside that we have a util function. And here in src folder I have one more file, like I can say, where we have writing here main underscore caller dot py, and inside this util function we have, in this util function I am just writing a file having common dot py. So we are discussing about modules. So what I'm trying to say, we are accessing this accessing this function into this. I'm writing a function in common file. The function that we are going to define, that will be written in this common file. So I'm writing a function in this file, and when we need to call this function from here, so that function is a module. Okay, so we are just calling here. So in Python we have lots of inbuilt modules that we are invoking. So those inbuilt modules will be how we are invoking it and how we can write our module. So first of our objective is, we are just writing how we can write our own modules, and then will come how we can invoke the other modules. So let's first start with our module. Let's we have a common function where we define a common function having the name def. Okay, and now what we are trying to do, we are just calling this function from here. So what we need to do, we need to import. Now what we need to import, we want to import the util dot whatever your function name. So your function name will be the name of, I'm just writing here module dot common. Okay, I'm importing my module like this, and writing and representing as, and I'm after that what we have done, we have a common module having the name this lambda function, and I am just writing here this print statement. Inside this print statement, either I am just writing util x dot the name of the function where I have three arguments. Okay, let's go inside this module. We have Python, and then we'll run the main. Okay, we have src folder main Python main underscore caller. Just a minute. We have written, or we can write like okay, what we have done. Just a minute here. What I'm trying to do, we have written a test function. Inside this test function, I'm writing here, and the main function will be uh, common comm on, and where we are just calling this test lambda function. So either I'm writing like this, my common function. First of all, let's access this, then define the refactoring. So we have a common function. Inside this common function, we have util. Spellings will be correct. Util. util correct. Have I saved this program? Let me just save this program. Common. Okay, okay, got it. So now it's fine. It's able to. I'm not able to save this program. This common program I have written, but I didn't save this program. So here the error will be this equation. So it will be defining this equation function. So I'm not able to calling the equation function. So let me just copy the equation function also from here. So equation is our lambda function. So where we have written the lambda function, this is our lambda function. So equation is this. So let me just copy this equation and paste it here. So I have written this program, but I didn't save this program, but that is unsaved program, so it's not able to call. So if you will see here, why this giving error? res1, res2. Okay, res1 will be here. No res. So if you will able to see, I have write only a single line. Okay, and this line have the multiple syntax. Right, let me just write. You have this folder name util.common, and then after my function name, you can write like this. You can import another type, import util.common. Okay, you can write is as common, and after that you can write like this. So you have no need to specify it again and again from where you are just calling it. You can just remove this whole part, and you can just what we have defined in line number 12, we'll just give a name to this function, so that we are just calling this function. Okay, when we run this program, the output will be the same. There is no impact on the output. And another part you can also define like this. You can define this name of this function also right here, and then name of this function, and you can remove this. So you can directly use the test function. So what I have wrongly mentioned here, util. Okay, for that I need to use from. If we are importing this function, so what we have to return it from what we are accessing. So what we need to write here, from, you will write in most of the syntax. We are accessing uh, from this. We have this, this is my module name that we are trying to this accessing. So we'll write like this. Let me just rewrite this. From my test, so I'm writing a function where we have written my test lambda function. So I want to access my function. The function name is person1. So I just want to be write first, uh, from where I just want to access it. So I write here from whatever my module path, import. What we need to import, we want to import my function name. What is my function name is this is my function name. So now I can directly use my function name here. So what I'm trying to explain, basically all these three type of functions, all these three type of modules we are using. So you don't need to be confused which module. You just understand what they have done. They have written a file. In that file they have written a specified function, and that function will do some task. Whatever the task that function performs, we are just invoking that function, and whatever the output that function will return, we are consuming it. Okay, so this is a way how we are importing a module. Okay, so these are the three ways we are defining the entire path. We are defining the path and defining some name. You have no need to be define it common. You can define your if as you like. For example, if you are using the panda libraries and all, you need pd and all. So you can just write here x, and I am using here x. Okay, but the best practices will be whatever your last name that you will be specify here, so you can just easily understand from which module, because if you have the n number of modules, so how you can identify from where this function is calling. So to understand it better, we'll define the name that we are specifying at the last. So let me just rerun this program. There is no impact in the output and all. Output will be remain same, but the part is you have to use the best practices. Okay, so now we are just moving. Have you understand? Do you have any doubt? So what I'm trying to specify here, this one is the import from path. Here we are explaining how we can use edge in while importing. After that, what we are using, how we are using import statements from in import. So we are discussing these three things in modules. So these are the three parts that we are discussing. So now we'll come into the discussion part of unit test cases. So how we will write the unit test cases in Python? So this is the most important part that a developer should do, a good developer should do while writing the programs. But it's unfortunate, due to the lack of the time and all, people are not using the unit test cases. So it's a but the best practices will be you should write your unit test cases. So let's discuss how we can write a unit test case file. So if this is my structure of program, let me just show you the structure again. If you will see, this is my structure of program where we have written. So if I am just writing the unit test cases of this file, so I have just created one more file here, unit test.py. Okay, so this is my unit test case file. Here I am just importing unit test. So basically unit test is already a predefined function that is specified, that Python will provide you. Okay, so now before starting the unit test cases, let me just tell you, when you importing this function, how you can start your unit test case. So what you need to do, whatever the unit test case that you have specified, after that you will specify here main. Basically in this file, you have a main function. When you run this function, let me just run Python, and after that unit test cases, and when you'll press enter, so what it do, it will be run, and it will tell you I have not run, there is zero test cases written, and it will be executed in this time, and the status will be the okay. So when you write the unit test cases, you need to import this function, and then you have to main. So main function will execute your unit test cases. Now question is how we can write the unit test cases. So if you want to write the unit test cases, for that you need to specify, one more thing, I need to just first come on the classes part, because let me just, for today, let me just basically write some basic unit test cases, then we'll come on the classes. I think you have little bit read the C++, so it's not typical to be understand. So I'm just writing a unit test case. I have a class where I just write my unit test cases. Okay, so if I'm just writing my unit test cases, what we need to do, we have this unit test case that we have import. In this function we have test cases. We have test cases. Either you can write like this, or either you can import the test cases, import like this as test case. And when you specify the test case will be like this, this will be, this one is the class. Okay, we'll specify here a class. Now I'm writing a test case here, first case, and I'm not writing anything. I'm just writing here pass. Okay, one more thing that I need to be explained 1 minute. When we are discussing a function, I'll forget this part. When you need to define an empty function, that that you want that don't do anything, so you just write pass function here and write here print, or you can just simply write calling this empty function. So this way we can define the empty function. Let me just show you and run this first. Python and whatever the function.py I have specified, so it will not returning anything. So you should know whenever we'll write pass, so it will be returning from here and it will be using for the empty functions. Okay, so let's come back on our topic that we are discussing, the test cases, unit test cases. So in unit test cases, what I have tried to write, I am not doing any test case. First I am trying to tell you how many test cases we can define. Let me just specify here. I have written two unit test cases, the first unit test case and second. I'm not doing anything. I have just written a function and pass it. And now when I'm trying to run my unit test cases, cd module .src python my unit test case file. When we are running this, what we have done, okay, that is a function. So we need to import from, uh, either you just want to use this, you need to import it from. Let me just, I just show you 1 minute. So let me save this program and rerun this. So when we are running this program, what happens, it will tell me that there is no unit test cases, but I have written something here. I have written some cases here where I'm just specifying. So let me just write here test. So if you will see here, when I'm not specifying, I'm just writing simply this function fun and returning return something and passing the value. I'm not returning anything. So if you will see, it will give you that you have to. Why this giving an error? Because we are defining the class. So any function that will be defined in the class, it should have the self. So when we run this, let me just rerun this program. So it will tell we have a one unit test case. It will not consider if I am not put test in front of a function. When I keep test in front of a function, it will be considered as a unit test case and execute it. So basically this is the way you can write your unit test cases. So let me just come and write the unit test cases for your whatever the function that you have defined. So it depends. Now, so what is the purpose of unit test case? Unit test case purpose is we know the input and we know the output, and we want to identify whether our function, whether our program will be working properly for that function. Correct? So I'm just writing the unit test cases for my caller. So what I need to do, I need to import. Where is my main caller? This is my main caller class. What I'm trying to do, we just want to test this function. So what we have done, we just want to be, I just want to be use this function. So let me just directly invoke this function. I am writing import util this, and inside this function here I have written like this. Okay, and whatever the value that I am storing here, store this value. I am writing 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, now we just want to check it self dot assert basically this is all these are the function. If you're not know very well, it's not issue, not an issue. I will explain it later on. What we want to check, we want to check the result value that will come. So that is the store, that is equal to that store value, that result will be store. So what will be the output that we have when we run the main program? So what will be the output? So output will be the main caller is 196. So that is the positive test case that we have written. Okay, so now the negative test case will be like this. We have, I'm just changing any value, it will be not equal to this. So let's rerun this program and you will see uh, 192 is not equal to this. So my test case will be the fail. So if you will see 192, oh, okay, it should be the 196, sorry, it should be 196, it should be 196. So here my one unit test, it will be both are pass. No, it's wrong. One of should be the fail. Let me just check. I'm just checking here only equal. So I'm writing here both 1 2 3. The result will be, if you will see, the result will be the same. If I'm changing any one value, I'm changing here 12, so my test second case will be the failed. So we have run the two test cases and one of the test case will be the fail. So this is the way how we can write the unit test cases. So where you have the well-known input that you are checking for equal to, same way you can check for the less than, greater than and all, and you can assert your results. So I think have you understand this part or not? If you have any issue in this unit test cases, no issue. Whatever the programs from till now will write the unit test cases for all. Okay, so we'll just make a best practice that whenever we'll write any Python file, so we should write the unit test cases function for that file. Okay, so I will explain how it automatically run in the next sessions. So today we are just wind up here. In case you have any doubt, you can just write me on the mail. We'll discuss on mail, or either we can discuss on tomorrow. If you have any doubt, you have only 1 minute, you can just speak. Otherwise I'm just closing the session. Let me just increase my volume here if anybody will just want to speak. Any doubt? No. No means matlab, are you getting, or matlab, it's no? Okay, getting. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll send you this entire folder. Okay, or either we can commit the entire folder in Bitbucket, or we can share you the public access. Okay, I will do that. Okay, yaar. Have a nice day. I'm just closing the session.